Welcome back to FM21 Redemption. Now we've got a big game for today's episode, but before that, let's discuss last episode because we posed the question of whether we'd like to continue FM21 Redemption at Toulouse or look to take our redemption story elsewhere. Lots of people had their say down in the comments section. The majority all seem to be of the mindset that maybe we should be looking to move on. Nozza Matthewson fancied Turkey. Even Toulouse's own technical director Wolf Track said maybe the time has come to go and experience life at another club. But the question was, where might we take our journey next? Now, Wayne Gordon had a particularly interesting idea, an idea that was shared by William Cross, and that was maybe seeking out another club in another league that has never won their domestic title and trying to merge our desire for redemption with that club's desire to achieve a first domestic honour. It seemed to receive a little bit of traction from other commenters as well. Rob Simpson was on board. That old sage Custard Prophet liked the sound of it too. And it might be that we might have the next stage of our journey mapped out, finding a club that's never won their domestic league in a country outside of France and seeing whether they will appoint us to continue our redemption story. But, you know, we always like a challenge, maybe a transfer restriction when it comes to taking on a new club. And a couple of people both had the same idea, and Jamin was thinking it, and so was Basta Bap. Why not make our next club about the antithesis of youth development? Signing players that we've worked with before, yes, but also trying to cultivate a squad made up of journeyman pros, people over the age of 30 who maybe are looking for their own redemption story in their own career. Maybe we could move these two ideas together and they might just align, finding a club that's yet to win their domestic title and making a squad based around people who are looking for their own redemption story at the end of a long career. You never know, it could be our next move, but we've got work to do at Toulouse first. The Champions League group draw has taken place. We have been handed some tricky games. So the FM21 gods have handed us games against Dynamo Kiev, Stuttgart and European royalty Liverpool. Who do we kick off the campaign against? The team from Merseyside. Up until 2021, they'd won the Champions League 6 times. Jurgen Klopp is still at the club and he's guided them to a further 5 titles. If my maths is correct, he's now won the Champions League on 6 occasions as Liverpool boss. They won it again in 2023, going back to back in 2024, back to back again in 28 and 29, and he throws in another victory in 2031 just for good measure. It looks like they only finished 4th last campaign, but that doesn't mean that their squad is not laced with an abundance of talent. 2 Portuguese internationals in particular frighten me. João Pereira is an elite striker, valued at £80 million. That's pretty much the value of most of our starting 11. There's very little that he can't do. An old bold ukulele has played 6 times and only scored once. How he's only got 6 caps for them, valued at £68 million, I'm not quite sure, because even at the age of 30, he's quick, great dribbler, great first touch. I'm not sure whether he might be another player that might just tear strips off us today. But we wanted to come back for the big games, not the big wins. We could well get an absolute hiding in today's game, but we've got to show you our first Champions League game. However, we're already 5 games into the Ligue 1 season as well. We should probably show you how we've started that campaign, and we've played some tricky ties. So in that last episode, we brought you that rather embarrassing 3-1 defeat to Monaco in the Trophée de Champion between the Ligue 1 title winners and the French Cup winners. Well, we played Monaco in the first game of the season as well. We switched from our 4-3-1-2 formation to our more conservative 5-2-3 formation. And we managed to get a 1-1 draw. Match at Carvot got us an equaliser. It was a pretty even game, to be honest. A draw was probably a fair result. They shaded the XG. They certainly had more shots on target than we did. So a 1-1 draw to start things off. Not too bad a start. We beat Arsenal Lens 3-0 before we had the first game of the season against PSG. Now this was an absolute tragedy of a result. We honestly should have been 2-0 up inside 90 seconds. Infamara BA struck the post within the first 30 seconds of the game. Al Blushi had another good chance after a minute and a half. We comfortably should have been ahead at half time. However, they scored a goal through England international Jamie Malone, and then they got a penalty given away by the hapless Paddy Dubois, who I am struggling to get on board with, I will be honest. They tucked the penalty away, and we were in a little bit of trouble. We adjusted in the second half. We switched from our 5-2-3 to our 4-3-1-2. And it meant that Benny Hader got a goal back for us pretty early on in the second half. We chased the game, we dominated it, we had the better of the chances. Much of PSG's XG is propped up by the fact that they had a penalty to score, but we could not get the equaliser that we deserved. In truth, we probably should have won this game, never mind just snatched a point. It means that PSG have won their first 5 games of the season, as have Lille as well. We'll show you the table in a minute. Those two have already got a decent lead, but we followed up the PSG result with a 3-1 victory against Troyes, with goals from Lansana Bar, got a brace, and Matchet Carvot as well. And then, in our most recent game, we were tied at 1-1 against Dijon. We took the lead through Sturvold. They equalised. We had a bit of work to do, but we never looked unduly threatened in this game, and goals from Godin, Larsen Pleam and Hartmann, by the way, 2 Norwegians on the score sheet for us, and Yuri Grachev playing in that game as well, shows there's still plenty of life in those old Sub-Zero heroes, but this was a comfortable win. You'll notice from the lineup, we played a completely rotated squad in this game, keeping people fresh for the Liverpool result. Let's show you how the table's looking before we get into the team we're going to play against Liverpool this evening. So you'll see not all that much is expected of us this season. We're ranked as 150 to 1 shots to win the title, but we were lower odds than that last campaign. The 16th most backed team in Ligue 1. You'll see that Paris and AS Monaco are way out there ahead of us. Of course they are, with the money that they spend assembling their squads, but the season has not started too badly, given that Monaco and PSG are probably going to be our 2 toughest games of the season. We've got 2 of those out of the way, and we've still managed to amass 10 points. We're down there in 3rd place. We're comfortably behind PSG, but we know that once PSG's Champions League campaign kicks off, they too are sensitive to dropping points in game, so it's by no means a gap that we can't bridge. What we're not so keen on are these outliers from Lille having a 5-game winning streak at the start of the season. We want it to be a straight shootout between us and PSG. We don't want Monaco and Lille establishing themselves as forces at the top of the table as well, unless that's to take points off PSG. I'm already thinking if we can have a good run in the Champions League and finish in that top 2 this season, it's going to have been another job well done. And if we can deprive PSG of the title for the 2nd season running, that would be superb. However, we're going well in the Champions League and have a chance of maybe making a quarter-final, a semi-final, or even more. Or if we don't qualify from the Champions League groups and drop into the Europa League and have a chance at glory there, well, we might just reassess how hard we push for the league title. We rested players for the Dijon game. It means people are fresh for the Liverpool fixture tonight. Let's show you the lineup, including a controversial start up front. So because this is our Champions League bout and because we're playing Liverpool, Champions League royalty in a club that is significantly stronger and bigger than our own, we're going to go with our more conservative of our two tactics. We're going to play our 5-2-3 formation, giving us a little bit more defensive security because we've not looked that strong in defence in our first 6 games of this campaign. It's a pretty reliable lineup. Chan is obviously going to be the man we rely on as our creative force in midfield. Carvot and Barr are going to be the people we rely on for supporting our lone frontman. Carvot, by the way, has already bagged 2 goals and 2 assists so far in the league, and Lansana Barr has got an assist and 2 goals of his own. It's up front where things might be a little bit controversial. Old Al Blueshy is still like a son to me, but he's not had the strongest start to the season. He didn't play well in that opening game against Monaco, and he's only scored once in his 4 appearances in the league so far as well. And against an elite defence like Liverpool, I didn't know whether he was going to have the pace to really trouble that back line. So my deputy is, of course, Sofiane Ben-Yedder, who's valued at £17.5 million. He's a great striking option. He scored 1 goal in 1 start so far this season. Ordinarily, he'd be my first choice deputy, but he's not the quickest of strikers either. Very much our third choice striking option is Espen Larsen Pleam. He's still only 18. He's a sub-zero hero that's valued at £7 million. Not to be sniffed at, however, he's not as strong as our other 2 players. But he is significantly quicker. Pace of 15, acceleration of 17. He's got decent agility and balance. He can take on a defence. He's got decent work rate to harry them. And when he gets a chance, he can tuck it away. He's got a goal and assist in just 1 start and 2 sub-appearances. Controversially, I'm going to take a gamble on Larsen Pleam for this game today because I think a little bit of pace up front might be one of our only options for troubling the Liverpool defence. Aside from some set plays, we're going to have both Ben-Yedder and Al Blueshy on the bench. If we change formations and go 2 up top, we could bring both of those players on. But this is the lineup we're going to send out for Toulouse's first game as a Champions League club since we took over. It's going to be difficult. It is at least at home. Let's see how we get on there against Liverpool. Okay, the Stade Municipal is going to be packed for this game. Liverpool are in town. We know that this is going to be difficult. We've already shown you a defeat against Monaco in the last episode. This is going to be a defeat as well, I'm sure of it. But how great is it to be able to bring you back and show you Champions League games? We've got a couple of teams in this group that I think we might be able to snag some points against. Certainly, we're earmarking those Kiev games as games when we might be able to steal a win. And maybe when we take our team to play Leodamus' Stuttgart, check out his channel and Twitch channel as well for his great series where he's in charge of Stuttgart. But we think that in our game world, we might be able to snag a point or 2 from them. But we know the 2 games against Liverpool are going to be an absolute challenge. And in, just the 7th minute of the game, we're relying on VAR, I think, or a referee's decision to determine if we're going behind early. They're checking it. You saw how easily Liverpool snuck through our back line. Thankfully, it's been disallowed. He's well off, by the way. He's well off, but there is João Pereira. And my goodness, he had a good swing at that one. We've got a corner, though. And we're inside the 10-minute mark. And unfortunately, it's not an attacking corner that leads to a highlight for us. It's one that leads to a breakaway chance for Liverpool. And you can see just how dangerous they are. I'm already considering making a change to our back line. I'm thinking we're going to pause it right there. That's 3 times they've looked to get in behind us. It looks like the linesman flag is up. Maybe we caught them offside. But I think we might make a little tweak. And rather than having Dubois as a stopper, we might just move him onto a defend function. If they get in behind us again, I think we might be dropping our lines of engagement and defensive line as well. We've at least had a shot, but those 3 chances from Liverpool have all looked like they've been pretty good ones. We're going to be fortunate to get into half-time without being behind, I think. We're now up to 3 shots, 4 shots. We're at least building our way back into the game, and Liverpool haven't had another highlight since those early ones. So this is a little bit more encouraging, but here come the Reds again. Oh, they've got through us easily once more, and they've got Allingham who's drifted one wide. Those kind of chances I'm a little bit more accepting of. It's the ones where they're bursting through our defence at will that I'm not quite so happy about. However, if you'd have offered me 0-0 against Liverpool at half-time before the game, I would have bitten your hand off. We're going to tell the boys they're doing okay, but we still want to see a little bit more. We're going to assess the fitness, see how early we need to make changes, and we're going to see you for the second half, where we could be on the verge of snagging our first Champions League point. Okay, second period is underway. Scan along those average ratings of our players. You'll see the Larson Pleam experiment doesn't seem to be going well. I think we might have to make a change up front. However, elsewhere in the team things are okay. Paddy Dubois is the other player that's not having a great game so far. I think we're going to have a look at replacing Larson Pleam. Shall we give Big Al Bluchy another go? I mean, at least he's going to provide Liverpool with something to think about. At 6'5", the strength and the jumping reach, the bravery and the work rate means that he's going to go and put himself about. And you never know, if we go a goal down, we might just change our formation and he might have a striker up there with him that might be able to do a little bit of his running for him. Speaking of going a goal down, here we go. But Barr has actually intercepted it and he's put Al Bluchy through. If Larson Pleam was here, he would have raced away from that defence. Al Bluchy has not got the pace to do anything of the sort. It was like a military tank driving through their defence. But he's a good finisher, isn't he, old Al Bluchy? And he has dinked one over the Liverpool goalie, who's had a jump at it and really probably should have just caught it, never mind parried it. But Al Bluchy has nicked a goal for us. Right, the match stats are now looking a little bit more even and we've got something to hang on to. We've got 27 minutes to go. We're going to have a quick look at our tactics, maybe assess what our second change might be. Okay, we've made just the one change this time. We've brought Sturvold on as the playmaker over on the right in place of Carvot, who was tired and playing poorly. And we've got 5 minutes to go. We've given the ball away from our own attacking throw-in, and Cock Bill has beaten 3 of our players. And Nicholas, I thought, might have handballed it. Instead, he's just lobbed it clear. And we're defending again. There's Cock Bill again. And we've hacked it clear again. We're looking for Bluchy to do something. He has. He's won the ball. But we can't keep possession. We keep giving it away. We can't win tackles. Now we've got the ball again. We've hoofed it away again and Chan can't get on it. And we deserve to concede here. That was an awful passage of play where we gave away possession several times. Our inability to get the ball clear has meant that Esposito, FM Stinger's favourite son, has burst through and equalised. They got in behind our defence. Our goalie couldn't do anything there. And now we're really up against it because Liverpool are going to be pressing for a winner. I'll take a point right now. We're going to make our last change. Okay, the last change is Labate on for Chan. Chan's breathing through an iron lung at this point, so we're bringing on Big Dave. An Italian listed as, but, came through at Dover. So he will know these English players that Liverpool have well. But it's their foreign players that are causing us all the trouble as João Pereira goes through. And we could do with making another sub because, look at BA and Bar. They are on their knees as well. Now that Chan's gone off, they can borrow his iron lung. We've got a minute to go. And you know what? We've held on and pinched a point against Liverpool. Al Bluchy has certainly given us something to think about. And you know what? I think we're going to adopt the old hands on the hips position and tell them that that was actually pretty decent points. This is Liverpool after all. Stuttgart have beaten Kiev. Perhaps that's to be expected. We've got games against Stuttgart and Kiev coming up. I don't know. If we can snag a point against Liverpool, we might be able to pinch a couple more points in this group. We know that the finances that we get from this competition are going to set this club up, potentially, after we leave. But before we do that, we've got business, because this has given us hope that maybe we could do something in Europe. And you know, a result in the Champions League would go some way to securing further FM21 Redemption.